Welcome back. It's the We Talking About Sports Boys at our favorite time of the year. Absolute favorite time of the year. We got football back. We got college football. We got NFL. Everything's going swell for us as sports fans. Ron, what's up, buddy?
Swell. Everything's going nice and swell, pal.
Nice and swell.
No, I'm good, man. I'm ready to dive into this Cowboy game. First game of the season. I'm excited. I got the burgers waiting to go on the grill, so let's run it.
Hell yeah.
What about you, Rolling? The Cowboys play today. You know, it's
yeah,
a
man.
big time too.
Thursday night football, week 1. You know, we got college football that got us kicked off right this past week. Feels good to be back. You know, we didn't do our little divisional breakdowns like we usually do. You know, I feel like we pulled, you know, like the veterans used to do back in the day, like the Brett Favres of the day, the Michael Strahans of the day, where we just decided we got to that point where we're going to skip training camp and we're going to skip the warm-up because, you know, we're just ready to go come week 1. We don't need the warm-up. Kind of feel like we pulled that this summer with no divisional podcasting, but hey, this is our 3rd or 4th year doing this, so you know we should be ready, primed, and ready to go here week 1. So excited to be breaking down the games here. Hopefully, Cowboys don't embarrass us, but yeah, just glad to be back.
Ben, what about you? We had a big college football Saturday. NFL's back tonight. How excited are you for this time of the year?
I was excited, and then Arch Manning shit the bed, but. I mean, that's what hype does. You know, you get out on the field and the Texas defense looked really good, you know, but man, it was a tough loss, bro. I'll tell you that. It was a tough loss. I was really hyped about Texas football, whatever. That's not the end of the world, but I mean, it was a pretty bad showing for the offense and a lot of hype. Heisman favorite, and, you know, you're throwing balls straight into the ground when you got receivers wide open.
I mean, you lost.
You
lost by 7 on the road in your opening game against the defending national champs. I mean, the world isn't over yet for the Longhorns.
Yeah, Ron. So they are number 7 now. They started that game at number 1. You made a good point. We lost by 7. We could have been in that game. Do you agree where they put Texas at 7 because of that loss?
I mean, it's too early for the rankings to even matter, man. To be honest. I don't hate the Arch Manning performance. Yes, I hate it because they lost, but he was still throwing some dimes late in the game. There was some bad passes, yes, but
yeah, like
we had talked about it where it was more the play calling on the goal line that was more the reason why Texas didn't have as many points.
That's a carryover from last year. That was Steve Sarkisian's biggest deal, was that play call around the goal line. It's always been bad, and it's happening again. We saw it 2 years ago when he was trying to get into the national title against Washington, throwing jump balls and 50-50 balls, trying to just score. It's not been a good look. Roland, there's been other games. This past week, we saw 3 top 25 teams playing each other in the top 10 alone. Did you like what you saw from LSU? Did you like what you saw from Miami? What did you like this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I liked what I saw. Well, I want to give some, you know, talk to Texas first real quick. Just my take on that. I kind of agree with Ben a little bit. I think it's like 50-50, honestly. I think Sarkisian, he came out tight with this play calling, but it is, you know, first game on the road. It's Arch Manning's first official start as a starter, even though he spent some time in that program, spent some time in that system. So really shouldn't have the training wheels on at this point, even though it is week 1 on the road. Should be ready to come out, you know, guns a-blazing a little bit. Felt like they really didn't try and open it up until kind of late in the 3rd quarter. Arch did make some bad throws. Mechanics is like probably been the key word that I've heard a lot thrown out in the college football world. Mechanics didn't look good. Missed a lot of crucial throws, even when they did have a chance down 7 late in that game to still come back and tie the game, despite, you know, the offense just not being anywhere to be found there in Columbus. They still found themselves, you know, with an opportunity to tie. But I think it was Wingo that he missed, was running wide open on a drag. And that's when I think he had that one where he just kind of opened up his body and just kind of threw it all weird and just missed it. But you could tell from his first throw, though, that it was going to be shaky. The first throw, I think he put in the dirt. So Arch, hopefully you can point it off and just say, hey, it was nerves, and kind of shake it off that way. And, you know, there's nothing to be worried about long term. But because of the, like I said, mechanics and all that stuff that's been thrown around, and I'm no one to be talking about that because I'm not a quarterback guru, but, you know, that's what the gurus have been talking about is, you know, the mechanics do leave something to be worried about potentially long term. So, you know, Longhorns not out of the woods by any means. You know, they have one of the tougher schedules everybody in the SEC has a tough schedule, but I think the Longhorns may have one of the tougher ones, and some of their tough games are on the road. So, Arch is going to have to, step it up if the Longhorns want a chance at winning the title. The good thing about it, though, is with the expanded playoffs, the Longhorns aren't out of the race. They will find a way to stay there, but Arch's going to have to play better. And on some of those other teams you're talking about, LSU impressed me. I did not think they were going to win that game there in Clemson, but you just got to remember who's on the other side. Even though it is Brian Kelly, he's not that good of a game manager personally. And week one has not been his strength in the past, especially in these like showcase games. But you have to remember, you're going up against Dabo Sweeney, who in this era, the NIL transfer era of college football, has not been very good since he lost, Trevor Lawrence and, Deshaun Watson, back to back.
Yeah.
Kind of wouldn't call them generational, but, great college.
Well, college generational. I mean,
yeah, Heisman Trophy candidates and winners. So it hasn't been very good. And Cade Klubnik, just not it. And, fault on me for, thinking the Clemson defense was kind of going to win the game for them. But yeah, it was a good weekend. I was just, kind of disappointed that Texas-Ohio State game. I think overall that game was kind of disappointing, even from Ohio State's side. But that's credit to Texas' defense, though. I thought Texas defense played really well in that game.
Yeah, I agree. And what about the shakeup within the top 10? Do you agree with these teams that fell off towards the back end, or is it just, like Ron said, way too early to even care about this top 10 right now?
I kind of agree with Ron. I think, preseason rankings leave a lot to be desired. You saw it with, I think, Kansas State. They're ranked, in the top 20, and I think they were losing to a Division II. I forgot who they were losing to.
State, and they lost. No, they beat it's like North Dakota State.
North Dakota State there in like the last minute or something like that.
Yeah, 3 points to win it in the end.
And so you got stuff like that. I can't really put any credence to it. But the teams that are up here on the screen, though, I think you mentioned Miami. I thought they had an impressive win against Notre Dame. Carson Beck just needed a little change of scenery. And South Carolina also was pretty impressive, even though it was against Virginia Tech. I like what I saw out of Sellers.
My biggest takeaway so far this past weekend with what I saw, at least, from the eye film here, any of these top 10 teams could win the national championship. The national title race is wide open this year.
No, I don't think
Clemson feel like
one is.
Well, it doesn't feel like one is just way above head and shoulder of the rest. Like 1 through 7 could strike if you want to say Clemson out. I agree. 1 through 7 is viable. I mean, honestly.
I agree.
That was my biggest takeaway. The only top 25 matchup coming up this Saturday is two blue blood programs, Oklahoma and Michigan. We got to see John Mateer play for Oklahoma, the new transfer quarterback, and the big NIL deal we saw, the one that Michigan paid all the money for, Bryce Underwood. He had his first game. So we're going to see this matchup it's going to be in Oklahoma. Ben, who do you like here in this matchup? Right now, Oklahoma's favored 4.5 points.
Yeah, I like Oklahoma. I'm actually a fan of Mateer. I know as Texas fans, we just hate Oklahoma, but I think that he's a pretty good quarterback. They are at home. I like what I saw from them last week. I know it wasn't that great of an opponent, but I'm going to take the Sooners and lay the points here.
What about you, Ron? Are you liking the Sooners for this bet here, this top 25 matchup?
No, I'll go with the Wolverines.
All right. Roland, what about you in this top 25 matchup? What do you like in here?
I'm going to side with Ben here. Take the more experienced quarterback, even though it's his first year in Oklahoma, transfer from Washington State. But you got to remember, Bryce Underwood, you talk about him, the highly talked about NIL deal, got Larry Ellison involved from Oracle, the $5 million man. He's a freshman. Freshman going into Norman, not a good recipe, even if it is, Underwood and one of the better prospects we've seen in a while. I think Oklahoma will get it done.
All right. Let's get into some of the news of the day. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this one is something we definitely have to talk about. 7 hours of commercial-free football seems likely to be over. We saw the acquisition of the NFL Network by ESPN. And ESPN, I mean, when they buy something, it's because they're going to plaster and sell ads and ad space all over it. Today, Scott Hansen was talking with Pat McAfee, and he says that commercial-free football more than likely gone. So goodbye to the 7 hours here.
Yeah, I hope, because what I did see, and I've listened to your explanation, but if I missed it, I did see some more specifics. It's going to be 4 commercials, 15 seconds each. They're going to have the full screen, so it's not going to be split screen. I saw it's going to be full screen. So I'm just hoping that they time it out in those rare instances, because it does happen where like 7 or out of the 8 games are on commercial, just coincidentally, then boom, just pop one on. And because I don't want to see
Octobox, all commercial.
Yeah, I don't want to see the memes that I've been seeing where it's like about to be a game-winning play, and then the Burger King Whopper commercial comes on. I don't want that to be the scenario. I just hope they time this out and they're smart about it, and maybe we can live with it. But it is disappointing to hear for sure.
Ron, I know you keep up with fantasy football, so red zone's a big deal in your Sunday game. You know, what is this? What do you make about this new commercials coming out on this?
It kind of happened the way I called it. I said that they're probably going to run ads or like a ticker at the bottom, or you even see it now during baseball games where they cut. There's like a pitching change, so they'll cut to like a 30-second commercial, but it's
picture
half of the screen, so you still get to watch that. So that's what I figure that it's going to be. The whole key of Red Zone is the commercial-free football, and if you're ESPN and you go buy it, yeah, the fans can't do anything about it. They still have to watch on ESPN, but you know, you still will get the people that'll get turned off and then go stream it. So you have to still give the fans what they want. You can't take away the main
Stream East
aspect
isn't
of the
dead,
program.
so the Stream East is still there.
Ben, what about you?
I'm sure there's a couple.
I know you can't be happy about this commercials.
No, I'm not. Usually running 2 TVs, so one's like on a game that I'm focused in on, and then the red zone. But you got to think that, like Roland said, they'll time it out well if they are using the full screen for the commercial. 15 seconds, not the worst. You know what I mean? Just running to the fridge, getting another drink, commercial's over. It could be bad, and I'm sure. I mean, it's the internet, so I'm sure there's going to be memes galore of it. Sunday by Sunday Night Football, but 15 seconds doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how it goes. That first week's going to be a shock, at least to the system, when we see these commercials.
I guess that's what happens when ESPN gets involved. So,
yeah. All right. Today we had news that wide receiver Amari Cooper, 5-time Pro Bowl selection, he informs the Las Vegas Raiders that he's going to hang them up. It's going to be 10 seasons for him, and he's done. Boys, did he just see Geno Smith practice for a month and said, you know what? F it, I'm out? What do you take from this, Roland?
Maybe it was a little bit of that, and I think maybe he just wanted to end his career with the Raiders. Because didn't he play a good chunk of his career? He got drafted by the Raiders and then ended up with the Cowboys and the Browns and then the Bills, I think.
Yeah, he's been with the Raiders before. Let me just see if it's the chunk of it.
So,
yeah, he was with them, Roland. You were right, but he was in Cleveland, bro. He wasn't getting playing a lot.
He was one of those guys. Like for the longest time, you would be like, "Damn, Amari Cooper's only 28. He's been in the league forever. Like, damn, he's only 27 or 29." And eventually, I mean, he's hit that age where, guys fall off the cliff, especially at that position. I think he's 31, 32, had some injuries, like Ron just said. 31. Probably just a good time for him to hang it up. Maybe he gave it one last go, and he just couldn't get it going here this last month that he's been with the Raiders. And was like, you know what, going to hang it up. But good career for Amari Cooper, former Cowboy.
3 years with the Cowboys, 3 years with the Raiders, Roland, just to clarify.
5-time Pro Bowler, like you said, did disappear in big games. Not going to hold that against them, against the Eagles, sometimes, but when we needed him. But, great career, not going to hold anything against them. Congrats to Amari Cooper.
Ben, he did play a stint with the Bills. Did you notice some drop off in his play when you were watching him?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, they picked him up, and you thought that he was going to be able to help because Khalil Shakir was, what Josh Allen was working with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he was cooked, bro. He signed with the Raiders, and people in fantasy football ran to pick him up. Like, all right, dog. I took notes. They'll all be getting
2 natties.
Invite to my league next year for sure. All the people that picked up Amari Cooper.
Who's the dude in the group chat that said that? Like, hey, why did y'all let me draft somebody that's retired? Was it about Amari Cooper?
It was Amari Cooper. But yeah, I mean, good for him.
Ron, what about you? What did you make of the 1 month retirement? I mean, he did come back to play, and then he just said, you know what, let's book it.
It's completely irrelevant. This guy's
time as a Cowboy.
Solid career, but he's not. I don't think he's
not a Hall of Famer.
No, not a Hall of Famer, but he had a solid career for sure.
5 Pro Bowls is nothing to be ashamed about. Yeah, not a Hall of Famer.
Solid career.
Let's get over to a possible Hall of Famer who's onward to a greener pastures.
Way too
Ron.
early to say that.
Onward to greener pastures. Roland, Ron, I want to go to you two first. Roland, I'm going to go to you because this one hits a lot closer to home. So break it down for me. How are you feeling about Michael Parsons in a Green Bay jersey next season or this season?
I mean, honestly, it's not the most ideal situation from the standpoint of, the return isn't what you would want it to be for, trading a 26-year-old or someone who's about to turn 26, plays the, second most important position in the league, and is probably the second best in his position as a true pass rusher in the league.
Future Hall of Famer, Justin.
Still too early to say that. If you look into his playoff performance, which I think Ron will touch on a little bit, but it is what it is at the end of the day. And to answer your question, I'm indifferent. Like, it is what it is. Like, I've had my takes about Micah, and I think I've come on this podcast and talked about his podcast, and him literally going on his podcast the same day as us losing by like 30. And talking about, damn, it was crazy out there. We were getting our ass beat. And it's like, dude, like that's just not what you do. Like, I don't care if you are an all-pro, second best player at your position, arguably the first best. Like, you got to have some better etiquette than that. And of course, the smear campaign is going to come out after he leaves. And, that's saying that, his podcast pissed people all the way up to Dak Prescott. There was people that didn't like the way he carried himself, these last 2 months, which, you look at both sides of it. He's upset not getting a deal done. Cowboys are upset, their star player is not on the field. So I'm not really going to fault anybody there, but I'm not super mad at it. Like, are the picks going to be valuable at the end of the day? Probably not. The Packers are going to be good the next 2 years. Guess what? Yeah. Those picks are going to be in the 20s. So we're probably not going to get a player back of Micah's caliber. But I mean, look, we were going to be in a position where we're going to have to be paying him $40 million. We already dedicated money to our offense. I mean, say what you will, but it's already been done. We're already paying Dak. We're already paying CD. We just, used some money that we didn't use on Micah to pay Jerome Bland. So the Cowboys were going to be super top heavy regardless. And that's usually not the best recipe. So, I mean, wish it would have worked out to a different outcome, with Micah on the Cowboys. Again, this stuff all comes out afterwards with what we apparently had on the table with him, what he may or may not have agreed to with Jerry Jones, which, I mean, at this point in his life, I don't know whose memory we're going to trust better in that scenario. But the Cowboys do have, a reputation of talking to their players without their agents and coming up with deals. And apparently that's what happened in the situation. It kind of got lost in translation when the agent got involved, and Jerry and the agent just didn't see eye to eye. And Jerry at this point in his life is just not playing those games. So wish we would have gotten more, but look, we're Cowboys fans. We're like the worst generation of Cowboys fans because we got to enjoy nothing of what happened in the 90s. Literally, like, I mean, I know I didn't. I'm speaking
I got to a little bit of it.
So
I did. I'm still that OG in the podcast.
Call me conditioned at this point in my life to expect stuff like this and to just not really react to it. And like I was telling the guys in the group chat, like, my expectations for the Cowboys this year, or my excitement level, is relatively high. But that's only because I have a lot of George Pickens in fantasy football. So I'm just hoping that we give up a lot of – well, I don't hope we give up a lot of points. But if we do, I just hope that we score a lot of points too and then see what happens. But, yeah, it is what it is. Good luck to Micah, and we'll just go from there.
Let's get to Ron before Ben kind of breaks it down a little bit better for us and maybe puts us into some reality. Ron, what did you think about the Michael Parsons trade? Are you hurting about it?
No, I'm not hurting about it at all. I don't mind it. I was a big Micah guy. You guys know I've said it before. Coming out of the draft, I picked him to be one of the top defensive players taken. He got taken really early. He had a great career. Everything was going good. And then just to me, I know I'm still young, right? I'm 37, but I'm kind of a little bit of an OG, so I don't know if I can say it now. But he kind of he kind of has he kind of has that millennial mentality, right? Like, I don't like something, so I'm gonna go on a podcast and talk shit about it. And like, to me, if you're a Dallas Cowboy and you have that star on your helmet, you behave a different way. And I grew up with the Michael Irvins and the Emmitt Smiths and the Troy Aikmans, where it was business, and Jimmy Johnson, he took pride in that. Then you have a guy Yeah, so you're over there at the White House, getting your party on. But no, but I mean, so Micah to me is just he was a star, great regular season player. I put the stats up there for a reason. I mean, those stats are crazy, right? He went to the Pro Bowl, Rookie of the Year, this and that. But I added the playoff stats. And look how so when we need you the most, you kind of just disappear. I get it. They throw the double teams at him. I mean, you plan for Micah,
for sure.
but you gotta show something when it's crucial, right? We're always saying big time players show up in big time games, and he was just nowhere to be found. And then the off the field antics were something that we're used to in Dallas with all the crazy, mofos that we've had on our squad. But but regardless of it, man, I'm glad that he's gone. It was going to be a distraction all year, especially with the contract and then the podcast stuff with another player from another Texas team and CJ Stroud. It's just, I'd rather not have the headache.
All right. Ben, you did mention before Hall of Famer, you calling him a Hall of Famer. So are you saying this was a big mistake on the Cowboys' part, letting go of Michael Parsons?
Well, you called him a Hall of Famer, and I just repeated what you said.
No, I never said Hall of Famer.
You said future Hall of Famer. That was you, Justin.
You definitely did.
Roland checked
you. I did not say that.
Oh.
I did not say that. Go ahead.
But anyways, like this was a guy that you all weren't even supposed to land in the draft, and then it was a fucking gift that
passed up on him.
Made Jerry look like a genius when it was like the no doubt pick. It was kind of like Carter with the Eagles. Why is this guy falling? He shouldn't be here. Let's take him. Obvious All Pro. I mean, Defensive Player of the Year candidate probably the last 2-3 years, and he's gonna be. I just think that it was mismanaged. Like Roland said, talking to him without the GM, it's just Jerry trying to one up. He ain't trying to let the inmates run the prison. So, I mean, this is bad, guys. 2 first-round picks. Roland already alluded to they're probably going to be in the late 20s. It's a loss on the trade. I get that you all don't like his antics and shit, but he was your best defensive player. He was, aside from CeeDee Lamb, probably the best player on the team.
For sure.
And now, who is your best defensive player? Like when
Deron Bland, baby.
Yeah, he got paid.
Warriors $92 million.
When the defense is getting boat raced up and down the field, like Roland alluded to mistakenly, saying, I hope they give up a lot of points, because they will. They will give up a lot of points, and then you're going to be seeing Michael Parsons making plays with the Packers, who have Super Bowl hopes this year. One of my dark horses for the Super Bowl, but I just think trading him to the Packers of all things, like that's the team that you all meet in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And
they just kicked our
what
ass
what
in the
about him
playoffs,
being
bro,
damaged goods, though? You
Cowboys
don't think we
Stadium.
win some of that trade back just because now he's going to have an epidural just to play the games on Sunday? I mean,
bro, he's not even that good. Let's just fucking say it. Like, you don't see.
I mean, look.
Like you don't see like, okay, it's super like way a long time ago, right? But he ain't no Charles Haley, dog.
He's
like,
not DeMarcus Ware.
Like great DeMarcus Ware, great Cowboy defensive.
from a pass rusher perspective,
like,
it's just him and Reggie White, like statistically.
Yeah, dude,
Pass
but
rusher.
those like he had 12 sacks his first 4 seasons. Okay, but his team, he didn't help his team do shit.
And
we're in
like,
the playoffs, and we need to
and
on a third down.
I
to
also
go
think
get
too,
back.
it's more so like, again, the Cowboys should have gotten more. But the situation had gotten so toxic, maybe the Cowboys lost some leverage. But at the end of the day, though, too, like, yes, like the Cowboys could have had him, regardless of what we wanted to do. He could sit out all he wants, but they could have, had him on contract this 5th year, and then you know what, franchise tag. Hey, you didn't like that last year? You know what, franchise tag you one more time. They could have done that. He could have been a Cowboy for 3 more years, and so I see all that, but. What I was getting at with my point, bringing all this up, is despite all of that, Micah Parsons doesn't fix what's wrong with the Cowboys. Like he's like I don't even know what the phrase is, like a Ferrari with a broken, or I don't know what it is, but he's just the sum of the parts for the Cowboys do not equal something that's going to be good, even with Micah. Their run defense is terrible, which is what we're going to be coping and try to use as a cope and say, Kenny Clark helps us on defense more than Micah. Is that true? No. But the Cowboys are notorious recently for having bad run defense. And Micah doesn't help in that regard. He's too busy trying to get down the field, which that's his job. But so it's whatever.
So raid the trade. Roland, Packers win the trade. Ben, Packers win the trade. Ron, Cowboys win the trade. Is that correct?
It's a fucking shitty
I
trade
think
regardless. Like, who
I mean,
even
someone
cares?
has to win the
But
trade.
I guess the Packers win because they get the All Pro guy, and who knows what the Cowboys are going to really end up getting in return. So
Okay.
the NFL fans win because they get to talk shit about Jerry Jones, and then you get Micah going to the rival.
Oh, go ahead, Ron. Go.
The thing, just real quick, all the Cowboys players that leave us go have shitty careers anyway. Amari Cooper was just on the screen, crappy career. DeMarco Murray went to the Eagles after that amazing season, shitty career. Tony Pollard, all these guys that we lose go have crappy careers.
And
anyway,
you know what? You're not wrong on that.
He's gone.
Shit, I was just gonna say the one thing is our opinions. The indifference about Micah Parsons is the 3 Cowboys fans that we are. That's kind of, I don't want to say unanimous, but I feel like a lot of Cowboys fans share our sentiment right now and being just generally indifferent about Micah being on or off the team. And I think that just says a lot about how people felt about Micah and kind of all the stuff that came with him.
It's not Luka leaving the Mavs.
No, it's not. It's not.
No.
Luka, hey, let's get to some of these questions in the comments because the game might be starting here in like 10 minutes. So any last minute fantasy? I know Josh had one. And
Josh is on here. Go to Josh.
Let's just give our opinion.
Let's get to questions. Yeah, let's get to Luis's real quick because he was first. Where is it?
Someone used to be in charge of the chat. Kelna, Justin,
Luis,
producer Just.
Luis, can you put it one more time, Luis?
It's down there in the comments. Just, can you get it up on the screen, please?
Here we go. Josh says AJ Brown versus Dallas, Jalen Waddle versus the Colts, Deebo Samuel versus the Giants, Xavier Worthy versus the Chargers. Start 3, bench 1. Who should I go with?
AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle, and Xavier Worthy, and bench Deebo.
Yeah, you're benching Deebo for sure.
I would bench Waddle.
Trying to look for Luis's. Here we go.
I don't hate that either.
NFL question: who started my flex? Franklin, wide receiver; Harrison, wide receiver; Mason, running back; Bigsby, running back; or K. Johnson, running back.
What Franklin is that, guys?
Harrison, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Probably Harrison.
Yeah, Ricky Franklin from the Replacements.
Yeah, Mason's still in RB2. So Bigsby's there's a fucking committee.
Johnson is listed as 3rd on the depth chart, so I'd go Harrison Jr.
Yeah, Harrison Jr. Luis.
I agree.
All right, let's get into this segment.
Cowboys gonna get piped.
And it's basically yes or no. So we're just gonna go over some of the teams here. We're gonna look at their preseason's future number and kind of just say yes, they have a chance to win the Super Bowl, or no, they don't. Starting with the Bills, boys. Yes or no? Plus 600. They have a chance to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, they're one of the favorites.
Yes.
Ravens. Yes or no?
Yep, another favorite.
Eagles. Yes or no?
Defending champs. Yes.
Chiefs.
Yes.
Always.
Packers.
I think so. They got a chance.
Okay, that's a little weaker. Lions.
Yes. Yeah, I think they're being slept on.
All right, we got one no here. Commanders.
Commanders, no.
I don't like the whole losing the coordinators.
Niners.
Commanders. I think
Niners, no.
You say Commanders, yes to Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah, it's just Jaden Daniels' experience might get
Let's go to
better.
the Rams here.
No.
All right, let's move. Let's take the big jump. The Texans, because we got a Texans fan on here. Texans chance to win the Super Bowl this year. Ben.
No.
All right, let's finish it off with the Cowboys.
Hell
all right, boys, there it is. Those are your chances at futures.
Ron, the better question
all the
is
way
Cowboys
up to the Commanders.
Over under 7.5, and I think it's going to be under.
Yeah.
I also don't think the Bills have a chance.
Not big on the Bills here.
No. I like the Ravens and I like the Packers in the Super Bowl.
All right, let's move over to tonight's game. Ron, Thursday night, we open up against the Eagles, defending champs. I believe you have a slide here. Give us the spread option and information here, Ron.
Oh, yeah. So this is just going over the lines for tonight. We can make our best pick or just a general talk about it. -8, 450, heavy favorites on the Eagles side. The team total was what it was interesting to me, 28.5 and 20.5. I put the first half lines up there. My personal play is the first half under 24 because I don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to move the ball at all tonight, with a slight lean to their team total at under 20.5, going into Pittsburgh with a new head coach against that defense. I'm sorry, Philly. With coaching change against that defense is just scary, bro. And we have no running game at all. So you take away the passing game from us tonight, and we're just dead in the water. That's it. Whoever wants to make any picks or whatever, however y'all think the game's gonna go tonight.
Man, I just
any other props
I'm hoping there's some points. I don't like the spread. Probably not gonna have a play on the -8 +8. Just the back door is always there with something like that, and especially with a total. The total's what 48?
Yeah, I forgot
48
to put
and a half.
Yeah, 48 and a
Something like
half
that.
and
So I know you're on the
24
first half over, but I mean first
Under.
half under, but with a total that high, you got to expect maybe there's some points. Both secondaries, or even though the Eagles have one of the better defenses overall, they are kind of testing out some new parts. They're not some new parts, but new starters, if you will, with some guys kind of departing over the offseason. So going to be interested to see how they hold up against the Cowboys passing attack. We know the Cowboys defense isn't going to be there. So I'd maybe look at the over. I could see some points there. I'm just kind of hoping for a good fantasy results too, because I have a lot of players kind of going in this game. I got a lot of Jalen Hurts, got a lot of George Pickens, a little bit of Goddard, and I think I might have like one Devonta Smith lineup in there. So going to be eyes on just primarily for fantasy at this point.
Hey, Ben, Noe's question, over under 23.5 completions for Dak. Gotta assume they're going to be throwing the ball around a lot.
I like the over for the game, and I also like the Cowboys +8. But with the run game, I mean, you think that they're not going to be able to run on the Eagles. They're going to be airing it out.
The attempts might be there for Dak.
Yeah, the attempts, I would probably go attempts over completions, just because the Philly defense is good. But I think that the Cowboys' only chance is going to be passing the ball, starting Lamb and George Pickens next to each other. You got a lot of athleticism. You got two guys that are playmakers, ball hawks. You can throw jump balls. So I think that the Cowboys are going to have to throw the ball a lot to make it a game that also can lead to a lot of interceptions. We know Dak pretty much guaranteed to at least throw one pick a game. If his completions are at 23.5, you got to think his attempts are, closer to high 30s probably.
You said it's 33.5.
Okay, 33.5, mid 30s. So he's gonna be slinging the rock. So I do like the overs, but I like the Cowboys because they'll be throwing.
All right. Is that everybody there?
Yeah. I'll have a fantasy question. Brock Purdy or Dak Prescott this week?
Who does Purdy
got the Seahawks.
Divisional
In Seattle,
game.
right?
In Seattle.
12 man versus no 12 man.
Seattle. What's that total?
I'm just worried. I'm worried about Dak's picks, bro. Like, you could be losing points.
Man, I don't know. I might go with Dak week 1, but I do like Purdy for the year, and I mean that's a good matchup. Just his total is pretty high, 47.5. I think it just moved down a little bit. The total in the Seahawks and Niners game is 43. And speaking of the Seahawks and 49ers, you guys are looking at your phones. One Christian McCaffrey has popped up on the injury report with calf strain, limited practice.
He's back like we never left, man. I mean,
everybody go get Guaderno.
Limited participant calf issue.
Brian Robinson now.
Yeah, Brian Robinson.
Oh, that's right.
Anybody who drafted D-Rob is looking pretty nice right now, probably.
CMC, he's back on the injury report.
I'm just worried about Dak, like, fumbling tonight, losing points, throwing a pick, losing points. To where Purdy, you kind of know you're going to get a solid 15,
17, solid, guaranteed.
And I feel
his offense is dink and dunk, they're going to get his points.
The Cowboys' offensive line is a full go. There's no injuries.
Yeah, but their tackles are gonna be trash against these defensive ends of Philly, bro. That's what I'm worried about. Is the tackles just? I would go with Purdy.
Week 1, let's do Purdy. Like, if you think about
it, I could be telling you the wrong advice.
Which team is probably going to be more prepared week 1 going into week 1? You would probably think the Niners, right? So
that's fair.
I think Purdy.
Starting the rookie Tyler Booker.
Yeah, Alabama.
Plus, we got kickoff in 6 minutes. So as far as for me, I'm out. I want to keep chatting it up. Everybody who's here in the chat, thanks for watching, bro. Like, subscribe, share our stuff, and hopefully we get around to doing some more videos because this shit's really cool. It's just sometimes we got a lot of other things going on.
Life happens. Welcome to the league, Tyler Booker. First assignment, you get Jalen Carter.
Well, he's seen him in college before, so let's see how it goes.
We'll be back Sunday
They
morning.
have him at
Sunday
guard.
morning, what, 10 a.m., 11 a.m.?
Y'all want to do Sunday? I'm
Yeah.
down.
Sounds
I kind of like earlier Sundays if we can, just
You
because
don't
we
even
won't
make
get
it
into
on
like
Sunday,
11,
so it doesn't
11:30.
matter.
And
I'm on the steel.
bro, you stopped last year like
You
half of the
don't,
year.
bro.
You
You
like
know
week 7, you
you're
were just
always
out.
drunk the next day, hungover. You're not making it Sunday morning. Come on, bro.
Yeah, that was before
Bro, I
I
always
was a
show up,
dad,
bro.
bro.
Oh, you know what?
Hey.
Baby's a changed man.
Fucking dropping
That
facts
means he's
on
going to
you
be
over here, Justin.
babysitting during the
That's all I gotta
podcast.
do.
All right, boys. Well, I'm out
Hey, no,
also.
he
I'm
said
going to go
Purdy,
have dinner.
Enjoy NFL season, baby.
All right.
Let's go.
Cheers to week 1.